Good evening. Allow me to tell you a story that unfolded in the shadows of an old mansion, a place where architectural beauty concealed a secret so dark that light itself seemed afraid to enter. This is the story of Blackwood House and the Jiao curse that enveloped it, revealing a hidden secret that few would dare to unravel. The dark legacy of the Blackwoods. In the heart of a small town, shrouded in mist and whispers, stood Blackwood House. It was not just a house, it was a fortress of dark stone, with carved gargoyles that seemed to watch every movement, and windows that, even under the brightest sun, appeared empty and lifeless. Built in the late 19th century by the wealthy Blackwood family, the mansion was a symbol of power and mystery. The Blackwoods were known for their wealth, but also for their reclusiveness and the strange rumors that surrounded them. It was said that the patriarch, Elias Blackwood, was a man obsessed with ancient secrets and forgotten rituals, and that the house was more than a dwelling. It was a repository of inexplicable energies. Over time, the Blackwood family disappeared, one by one in inexplicable ways. Some died of mysterious illnesses, others simply vanished, leaving behind only the mansion and a trail of unanswered questions. The house stood abandoned for decades, a silent monument to tragedy and the unknown. The townspeople avoided the place, and children told stories of shadows in the windows and laments echoing through the empty corridors on full moon nights. The legend of the Blackwood curse took root, and the house became a taboo, a place where darkness seemed to have permanently settled. So before you get all comfy, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I'm doing here. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. Now turn off the lights, maybe switch on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's dive together into today's story. The arrival of the curious. It was in 2005 that a group of young people, driven by curiosity and the desire to prove their bravery, decided to spend a night at Blackwood House. They were four friends: Anna, the skeptic of the group, always with a logical explanation for everything; Pedro, the adventurer who sought strong emotions; Mariana, the sensitive one, who felt the energy of places; and Lucas, the amateur historian, fascinated by local legends. They had researched the house, read old newspaper articles about the disappearances and the conspiracy theories. For them, it was just an old legend, a challenge to be overcome. They arrived at the mansion at dusk, with flashlights, sleeping bags, and a video camera to record the adventure. The atmosphere was heavy even before they entered. A sepulchral silence hung over the property, broken only by the rustling of dry leaves under their feet. The main door, made of dark, massive wood, creaked sinisterly as it opened, revealing an interior covered in dust and cobwebs, but which still retained its former grandeur. Furniture covered by white sheets looked like silent ghosts, and the air was cold, even though it was a summer night. They explored the rooms on the ground floor, the living room with its imposing fireplace, the vast dining room with a long empty table, the library with shelves full of dusty books. Lucas, with his enthusiasm, pointed out architectural details, while Anna tried to find flaws in the structure that would justify the rumors. Mariana, however, was visibly uneasy. She felt a weight in the air, a dense energy that gave her goosebumps. "There's something here," she whispered, but Anna just rolled her eyes. As the night progressed, they gathered in the living room, lighting some candles to supplement the flashlight's glow. They began to tell horror stories, trying to ward off the growing nervousness. It was then that the first signs of the inexplicable began to manifest. A faint creak on the stairs, as if someone were ascending. An indistinct whisper coming from upstairs. Pedro, the adventurer, chuckled, trying to hide his shiver. "It's just the wind, guys," he said, but his voice didn't sound as confident. The secret revealed. The tension escalated when Lucas's video camera began to malfunction, with the image shaking and distorting. Mariana, wide-eyed, pointed to the library. "I heard a sound in there," she whispered, her voice choked. Pedro, to prove his courage, decided to go check, followed by Lucas, who wanted to record anything. Anna and Mariana stayed in the living room huddled together, their hearts pounding. In the library, the air was even colder. The books seemed to watch them from the shelves. Lucas shone the flashlight into the back of the room, where a dark wooden cabinet seemed to be slightly ajar. Pedro cautiously approached and pushed the door. Behind the cabinet, there was no wall but a secret passage, hidden by a false door. Curiosity overcame fear. They entered. The passage was narrow and dark, with a smell of mold and earth. It led to an underground room, windowless, lit only by a few candles that Pedro and Lucas lit. The place was a kind of sanctuary, with strange symbols carved into the walls. A stone altar in the center, and on it an ancient book, bound in leather, with inscriptions in an unknown language. Lucas, fascinated, picked up the book. As he opened the book, a gust of cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. A guttural growl echoed from the shadows, and a shapeless figure began to materialize in the corner of the room. It was not a ghost. It was something denser, more real. Red eyes gleamed in the darkness, and sharp claws extended towards them. Pedro and Lucas screamed, dropping the book and the flashlight. In the living room, Anna and Mariana heard the screams and the thud. Panic took over. The library door slammed shut, and heavy footsteps began to ascend the stairs coming towards them. The candles in the room extinguished one by one, leaving them in total darkness. They hugged each other, trembling uncontrollably. Pedro and Lucas, in the underground room, tried to find the exit. The creature was getting closer, its growls echoing off the walls. Lucas, stumbling in the dark, felt something in his hand. The book. In an act of desperation, he threw it at the creature. At the same instant, the creature let out a deafening roar and recoiled, as if the book had burned it. A faint light began to emanate from the book, and the shapeless figure dissolved into shadows, disappearing. The secret passage opened again, and Pedro and Lucas, gasping, ran back to the library, where they found Anna and Mariana, pale and crying. They ran out of the house without looking back, and only stopped when they were far away under the moonlight. The legacy of the secret. They never returned to Blackwood House. What they saw and felt that night changed them forever. Lucas, the amateur historian, spent years researching Elias Blackwood and the book. He discovered that the patriarch had made a dark pact to gain knowledge and power, and that the book was a grimoire, a compendium of forbidden rituals. The creature they saw was an entity invoked by Elias, a guardian of the house's secrets which manifested when the grimoire was disturbed. The curse of Blackwood House was not just about ghosts. It was about a hidden secret, a pact that bound the family to something ancient and malevolent. The disappearances were not random. They were sacrifices, or perhaps the creature claiming what was due to it. The book, the grimoire, was the key to everything, and the creature was its protector. Blackwood House remains there, silent and imposing, a reminder that some secrets are best left buried. The townspeople still avoid it, and the legend of the hidden secret has become part of the local folklore. And for those four friends, the night at Blackwood House was an unforgettable lesson about the dangers of curiosity and the existence of forces that defy human reason. Good night.